In this video, I'll be sharing with you a requested tutorial on how to cut this stylish asymmetric overburst conical bustier pattern. So if this is something you like, kindly hit on the subscribe button. Now to start, I'm going to draft this in a miniature size, or I'll be illustrating in a miniature size. Now the first thing you need is your shoulder to bust, under bust, waistline, and add additional 7 inches after your shoulder to waistline. Now the next step I'm going to take is to go ahead to mark my shoulder divided by 2. Now I'll be taking this measurement as the shoulder divided by 2. From that point, you're going to come down by 1 inch. After marking this 1 inch, you go ahead to mark a basic neckline of 3 by 3 inches. So I'll be assuming this is 3 by 3 inches neckline. So you're going to use this neckline to serve as a guide for your pattern, right? Go ahead to connect from that 1 inch from the shoulder all the way to the neckline. The next step is to find your chest line, and to get that is your bust circumference divided by 6 plus 1.5 inches. Whatever you get, make a mark and draw out a straight line there. Place your shoulder measurement on your chest line. Go ahead to place your ruler and connect. Now after you're done connecting, I'm going to go ahead to place what I have here, my tape here, divide it by 2, and I'll come out by ½ inch. Here I'll place my tape at the chest line and mark my bust circumference divided by 4. Place my curve drew, connect from here all the way up and connect from the midpoint. Connect to your bust circumference divided by 4. Now I'm going to start by marking my dart. I'm going to mark my nipple to nipple divided by 2, and you're going to mark this from the bust to the blouse length. I'll divide my shoulder, remaining part of the shoulder, into 2 and mark. Now I'll place my ruler. Go ahead to connect this all the way up and also connect this at the lower part. It's from the bust all the way to the blouse length of this dress. Now I'll start by marking my dart intake. I'll mark 1 inch on both sides of my pattern, right? If you're plus size, use 1.5 inches on both sides, and I'll go ahead to place my ruler. I'll connect on this side and also connect at the other side of my pattern. Now place your ruler, connect from the bust all the way to the under bust, and also connect at the other side of my pattern. Now after connecting at this point, I'll go ahead to outline. Now place my tape and I'll determine where I want the neckline to start. That is the overburst area of my pattern, and I'll mark. So at this point, I'll just go ahead to mark an overburst tightening of 0.5 at both sides of my pattern. Now I'll go ahead to connect from the bust point all the way to that point on top, and also connect to the other side, right? So after I'm done connecting, I went ahead to use my marker to outline. After outlining at this point, I'm just going to draw out a straight line here to serve as a guide where my neckline will start. Next is to mark your bust round circumference divided by 4. Now this that we have at the chest line, that is what I'll replace there and add ½ inch to my pattern. I'll go ahead to mark my under bust circumference divided by 4, measure the dart intake, replace and add ½ inch. Here I'll mark my waist circumference divided by 4, measure the dart intake, replace and add ½ inch for my sewing allowance. Mark my hip circumference divided by 4, measure the dart intake, replace, and I'll just add ½ inch for my sewing allowance for now. I'll go ahead to place my ruler to connect all the dots or marks that I have made, starting from the chest line area to the bust, under bust, waist and blouse length. Now I'm marking the bust dart. To get the bust dart is the difference between your shoulder to waist in front and that of your shoulder to waist at the back. For example, if your shoulder to waist is 17 in front, at the back, which is 15.5, if you minus 15.5 from 17, it will give you 1.5. That 1.5 is what you mark at as your bust dart and extend to your nipple point. Now after I'm done marking this at this point, I'll go ahead to work on the asymmetric neckline of this pattern, right? I'll just pick a point. I'll be using a freehand sketch to do this. Now I'll just go ahead to connect and blend in my darts this way and reconnect back. After reconnecting, I'll blend this out here and connect to the armhole. So this is what I have at this point, and after that I'll outline with my marker. Now after outlining with my marker, next is to work on the asymmetric hemline. From your original pattern, you can come down by 3.5 to 2 inches after your waistline. Blend in your dart and you're going to start drawing out the asymmetric hemline. For this design, go ahead to use a freehand sketch to get this part. So this totally depends on your body and what suits you. Now come out by 2 inches from your hip point and go ahead to connect. Now if you're not okay with the 2 inches at the lower part, you can extend it by 3, but 2 inches should be okay. Now I'll just go ahead to cut out. While cutting out, please go ahead to blend out your dart while cutting out your pattern. So I'll just go ahead to cut out the asymmetric shape, cut out the darts, and also towards the hemline of this dress. So if you have any questions so far, please go ahead to leave it at the comment section, and I'll just go ahead to trace out this part. So this is what I have. Blend out your pattern. Now let's go ahead to work on the back pattern. For the back pattern, I've marked my shoulder to chest line, my bust, my waistline, then I added additional 7 inches. Now if this 7 inches is too long, please go ahead to reduce it by using 5 inches or 6 inches after your waistline. For the shoulder part, I used the same shoulder divided by 2 and I marked out my chest line, which is your bust circumference divided by 6 plus 1.5. The only difference is that I didn't mark an armhole curve at that part. Now for the back pattern, I'll be cutting it as a dartless pattern. Here I'll go ahead to mark the bust circumference divided by 4, add ½ inch. Here I'll mark the waist circumference divided by 4, add ½ inch. Now at this point, I'll go ahead to connect first. Now after connecting, what I'll do is I'll take the front pattern and I'll place it and make sure that it matches that of my back pattern, the waistline, and I'll draw out. This is like the easiest way to mark this part to avoid going through the stress of cutting and drafting out, right? You just trace out that side so that it will meet or match up what you have already. So I'm just going to go ahead to mark out a lacing area. So for the lacing, you can use 1.5, 2 inches or whatever that suits you, right? How open you want it to be, and connect, drawing out a straight line. Now I'll just go in and connect this all the way back. After I'm done connecting, I'll just go ahead to outline and draw this out. So this is what I have at this point. I'll come down by ½ inch and I'll go ahead to reconnect. Now I'll just mark this to indicate that I have a lacing at this part of my pattern, and I'll go ahead to cut this out. So if you have any question regarding this pattern drafting, please kindly go ahead to leave your question at the comment section.